Too many New York producers are still taking that Australian, Californian mantra of let's do everything single varietal. And I think having a lot of these hybrid varieties, which are very good on their own, but are a little one-dimensional, maybe need a little more focus by having a couple other wines blended into them. I think that we're missing the mark a little bit with trying to do everything as a single varietal. And I think we may be a little bit better trying to utilize some of these varieties as layers in the blend.
Is every vintage just completely different because of the weather here?
Yes, and I think that's what separates people that are trying to make recipe wines from the people that are really out in the vineyard all year long, paying attention to what's happening on the vine, how that wine is structuring up, and gathering the information based upon your hedonistic approach, getting out there, tasting it, and really getting into it, and then making your decisions in the winery.
So some of these grapes are almost looking ripe, yep, and others are totally green. Is that one of the challenges of cool climate viticulture,
yes,
or Pinot Noir?
Cool climate altogether. You see up in here, up in the canopy, these are things that have happened later in the season. Basically, you can tell this is the primary shoot here.
Yeah.
You can follow it down. This was the initial growth. And what happens is we go through, we knock the tops off of them to keep the growth a little more uniform, and it pushes these lateral shoots. And these lateral shoots will oftentimes, late in the season...
Where's the lateral shoot?
This is the lateral right here.
Okay.
They'll push in it a flower, and the flower will bloom and set fruit, but it sets fruit at about 3 to 4 weeks later than what the initial fruit was set at. So basically that means more handwork for us. We're going to come out in the field this week, and we're going to remove a lot of these clusters, as they so kindly named them Christmas clusters, because they won't ripen until Christmas.
This grape looks really ripe to me. How do you know when it's ready to go? It looks ready to me.
That's a very good question. We kind of get an indication by doing a lot of sampling. What we will do is come through the vineyard when we get close to ripening. Basically, a lot of the testing is just picking a berry off, tasting it. Are we starting to get some sweetness there? And then that tells us when to react. Then we go into the vineyard, we do some sampling. We will go through randomly, pick off a berry off of each cluster, about 100 clusters, and take it up to the lab, and we'll press it out. We'll analyze the sugar levels, the acid levels, the pH, and that'll give us a picture of how close we are to where we want to be.
So you start with taste,
yes,
and then you go to the lab,
yes,
when your taste buds say, I think we're close.
But ultimately, my taste buds trump what happens in the lab. There's only so much that science is going to take you to. A certain level, you have to trust your instincts, and you have to trust what you're tasting. There are certain varieties that if they're left to hang and you're going based on bricks alone, sugar levels alone, that you can overshoot your mark. You can miss a lot of fruity aromatics, and it's best to be in the vineyard tasting every day and analyzing and being on top of it. Mm-hmm. Same with your wines. Taste your wines every day. Just kind of wanted to test the waters here and see how much we could get away with. So essentially this block has been planted 7 years ago with no cover to see what would transpire in terms of winters. We've had some issues here and there, but only in a few varieties, and we've isolated the ones that are going to do best for us. I did a harvest with Vineland, but the whole time through school I was still here working with the wines and the vines, so I'd come home at night and be in the vineyard. But I've been raising these vines since we put them in the ground. And then in terms of winemaking, yeah, I'm in my 3rd vintage now. All my knowledge to Canada, and it's a fantastic program at Niagara College. And really, I still have many connections in Canada that I can call in a heartbeat and get some perfect in-depth answers. This is our region, and this is maybe our regional styles that we are producing that you're not going to find a lot of other places in the world.